All ripping, screaming from your soul. We watch it fall. Now you come to walk on. Come on, set your light through. Just set your light through before we're only whispers in the wind. You can turn my world upside down a rush like I've not felt before.
With anime in our souls and thoughts of wrestling out of control, we are a group of weebs who love the entertainment of professional wrestling. So allow us. Sorry, I just saw the stream right now. Oh, good layout right there. So allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling events of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all you nerds out there. So grab your steel chair, you up for the table, and get put through an experience unlike any other. We are brought to you by Anima Wii Studios, and this is the Weebs of the Ring podcast. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully, you guys have had a great week. WrestleMania 41 is finally in our rearview mirror, and I think after tonight, I can firmly say I am so happy that we're moving to greener pastures, because if tonight's quality was any indication of what WrestleMania is about to become in the future, yeah, we're in for a good summer. We're in for some great bookings, some great storylines. I'm actually excited to talk about some of this stuff tonight. Yeah, so chat, hopefully you guys are having a good weekend, like I said, and all that. So be sure to join in on the conversation. You know, again, keep things relatively tame in there, and hopefully we don't have to boot anybody. But if we do, hey, hopefully it's a nice little boot just to be like, hey, you're a naughty person out there. But, you know, for all the old people out there, welcome back to our streams. But if you're new here and you're wondering, hey, who are these two guys on our screens right now? Well, I, of course, am one of your co-hosts, your world champion Walk-ins here, constantly defending these titles that I have right behind me. And, of course, I'm never alone in this endeavor. Normally, we have a man who keeps everything very positive. He's known as a revolutionary and a visionary, but unfortunately, since he did sell his soul to The Rock, sometimes The Rock needs to take that soul for an evening. So, unfortunately, Vash is not here with us tonight, but as always, we have the man to help us process these stories, help us understand what's going on, and kind of cipher through the logic and all that when it comes to these storylines on our WWE product. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the ring the genius of the mat himself. Drop this box. Drop, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm tired, but I'm doing good, and I'm excited to talk about this episode of SmackDown.
Oh yes, yeah. I feel you on that tired part. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I can kind of feel it in my throat right now. I'm kind of tired, and it's kind of starting to get to me, you know, in a good way. Not like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, do some weird things because I'm tired. Nah, I'm just tired. That's about it. You know, been a long week, especially with everything that WWE has been putting out PR wise. But again, I'm gonna say this again. I think now that The Rock isn't being involved in storylines or, you know, having any say, or even if it's like any board members having any say, because like when I looked at WrestleMania this past year and like just looking at this show tonight, Yeah, this felt a lot more like the Triple H era of wrestling and of WWE content. Like this felt like everything made sense. People were making sense as well. The match qualities skyrocketed. I mean, we'll talk about this main event here in a second, but even beyond the main event, like I thought every match tonight really brought it. Like everyone brought like their A game at least. I think only one match maybe was a little slow at the start, but I think just tonight overall, from like match quality to promo work, was really on top. Like this was some of the best work we've seen in WWE in quite a long time. But I guess I'll start with you. Just really quick drop. Did you feel anything just completely different from this SmackDown compared to the past few weeks we've had of WWE product?
I mean, it definitely did feel like they're trying to get things in order this time, because with the last couple SmackDowns, we were really just focusing on whatever was going on with the whole WrestleMania season. But now that all of that's out of the way and they can focus on other things, they can have like a nice refresher before they dive into anything, you know, heading into the summer. It definitely felt like a fresh start that we needed to really get back on track again, because that's WrestleMania build, like we spoke about many times on the channel, it was definitely very rough to get through. That's why I'm glad we can finally move past it and see what else is in store throughout the year. Because as much as I love the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, there's always those things later in the year that hits harder sometimes, depending on what they do.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's just I looked at tonight, and it just made me think, okay, this was Triple H saying, hey, you guys wanted to question my booking, you guys wanted to question my storyline, not only just like towards the audience, but even towards corporate and all that. And I'm going to call the board of directors corporate. Why? Because they have that corporate mindset. Yeah, now this was definitely like, and I mean, I'm not saying, you know, Triple H was the end all be all with it, because again, the talent were the ones to really bring it tonight. Like they were the ones that had to put what they had on paper into our eye holes and all of that. And I was quite pleased with a lot of the segments we got tonight. And just, I mean, Backlash is looking pretty dang good right now compared to WrestleMania. And I mean, there's one match in particular tonight that probably should have been on the main card, but you know, it even being on a SmackDown, it outshone a lot of what we saw last week on WrestleMania. But enough kind of dancing around it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about our main headline story here, because this is going to be one thing that people are going to be talking their people's ears off for like the next few days, couple weeks. Dare I say, we just witnessed match of the decade tonight. And yeah, that might still be a little bit of recency bias. I don't care, because in this moment right now, we witness an amazing TLC match for the tag team titles between the Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns, and DIY. Like, I could go blow for blow for this. You know, me and Drop could do that easily and all that, but like, really just great spots throughout. Just like a lot of spots you rarely see in like a TLC match, or you don't see too often, especially in the WWE sphere. Like Montez Ford, for example, he has got to be the MVP of this match. Some of the bumps this man took during this match, like doing these top rope jumps, like just over not even like a springboard. The man is a physical god out there. Like he's jumping over the top rope, doing a freaking blockbuster from the inside of the ring to the outside of the ring. The man's jumping from the top rope onto a ladder. The man climbed a ladder on the side of it to get rid of his other opponents. Like, Montez Ford is a beast, and Angelo Dawkins continues to prove why he should not be the second man in the tag team. He is just as good as Montez Ford. They are on equal footing, and that's just the Street Profits in this match. DIY being as crafty as they are, that like the moment that Johnny Gargano put Montez Ford like through the ladder, super kicked him, I thought that was a finish. There were multiple times I thought the finish was happening. like the skull and bones through the table, man. Like that was, oh my god, this match slapped hard. And I as much as a lot of the internet is thinking, and everybody has the same questions, why was this left off the Mania card? I can almost guarantee it already outshone it, like I said, but it would have outshone everything on WrestleMania weekend. And everybody would have been talking about that. And corporate doesn't want that, but that's man, oh my gosh. I'm just sitting here fanboying about this. And that's what I want in my wrestling. I want a fanboy. I want to be like, yes, give me all of this. Give me more of this. It was just awesome, dude. It was just awesome. Like, Drop, I'll just pass it to you so I can kind of calm down really quick. It's just like, oh my god, this was just a barn burner. Like, what was it, like 25 minutes, 30 minutes of a commercial-free hour? Like, this was great, man. Whew. Whew.
The one thing I will say about this match itself that definitely needs to be an ongoing thing moving forward, you don't always have to have a match like this every single week because it's nice to have them every so often so it feels special, but the kind of rhythm that they brought to the tag division tonight is something that I want to see consistently every single week. Like, I want to see performances like this where people actually give a shit about everything that's going on. Not doing like a couple run-ins or little small tidbits just to build like a little small angle or something. Like, actually show why people love tag team wrestling. Because I know Triple H loves tag team wrestling. You look back in the NXT Black and Gold days, I mean, you wanted to watch the best tag team matches. I mean, there you go, because the main roster back then, as much as there was a lot of good key players on there, they weren't delivering performances like we saw during Black and Gold of all of those great tag matches. Like, I recall a tag match that still gets talked about till this day is the War Raiders against Ricochet and Aleister Black, which we'll touch on him a little bit later. That's a match that a lot of people still talk about, so I'm hoping with what they did tonight, the love that they gave the Street Profits, the love that they gave the Motor City Machine Guns and DIY, I'm hoping that's a consistent thing moving forward, because the crowd was electric, they were invested, they didn't take their eyes away from the match, they had a lot of good spots, because when you label a match a TLC match, you got to take advantage of it. You can't just do a couple spots here and there and then call it a day and then climb up the ladder and win the title. Like, you actually have to show, okay, what is a TLC match? It's almost like they're inside of a schoolroom trying to break down a definition to describe what a TLC match is. If you were to sit in front of me and explain what a TLC match is, what we saw tonight is what I want to see. And this was great. One of the best tag team matches that we've gotten in a very long time. And we're already in April, and this is already up there for like match of the year when it comes to WWE standards. I'll label it for them when it comes to WWE. Yeah. When it comes to like WWE standards, when it comes to like what their whole catalog, because I'm not going to be looking through every promotion because that's going to take a long time to look through that. But just looking at tag team matches alone, I mean, we need to see this consistently, especially when you bring like new players up. Like, you got to keep that rhythm moving forward. But I really did enjoy this a lot. I'm glad it got time. It was smart that they decided to put this on during the commercial free hour, so that way you don't have to like wait for a commercial to go by and see what's going on next. Like, if you really want to capture the full intensity of a TLC match, that's what you need to do, which I'm hoping it's something that they can do every so often. Like, I understand they got to follow the protocols with whatever USA says, but I'm hoping like every once in a while, it doesn't have to be every single week, but I'm hoping every once in a while, if there's like a specific match or a specific segment that needs the time without any like commercials or anything, mainly matches, because usually when you have the segments, it gets all the time in the world. It's not like someone's cutting a promo and they're waiting for a commercial to come back and everybody's just looking at them like complete idiots. Like, at least with matches like this, especially important ones, I would even say, hell, if you're doing a main event, just let that thing stretch all the way out to really absorb everything that's going on there. But this was really good, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, like this is what happens when you give time. This is what happens when you give people something to really like digest and like get excited about. Like this is what happens when you let your talent just go out there and do their thing. You know, none of this like again, I'm just gonna label it corporate bullshit because when I don't want to keep going back to WrestleMania, but it really has to be shown. Like this was night and day, even compared to Monday. Like there were some things on Monday that would like still felt a little. You're being a little corporate here. You're being very like almost like a caricature of yourself and everything. There was still that feeling on Monday, but man, tonight it just felt like a 180. Like I mean, not to like jump to like other spots or anything, but like you're making things feel important. You're making the fact that like your US title is important. Tonight, you made it so that the WWE tag titles felt important. More important than any other title on that brand or any other brand. These felt like these 6 guys went to war, and you could see it from their selling, you could see it from just the spots they pulled off, and even the winner too, like with the Street Profits, like they put it all on the line. Dawkins does not do a lot of high flying shit.
No, he doesn't.
And yet he's doing a spear from a ladder to Ciampa through a table.
Yeah, I thought Montez was gonna
like,
do that, to be honest.
Yeah. Like that's a Montez thing right there. That's not a Dawkins thing. And I'm glad Dawkins seems fine because like when he landed, I was like, oh, I hope he didn't land awkwardly. But luckily, you know, after seeing some replays, I'm like, all right, good. He seems to be fine. He seemed to land fine, and he was up celebrating with Montez. So great, keep that going. I'm glad the Street Profits won too because like as much as this story with like the tag titles has been, it's been a lot of flip-flopping with the titles, a lot of hot potato. So I'm glad the Street Profits kept it because now, like you said, we can kind of move on from this, maybe get a new feud going. We do have a new tag team up on SmackDown, and I know they haven't mentioned anything about a draft, but usually around this time, WWE do like to do their little draft, and right now, currently the NFL draft is going on, so
yeah.
They like to be the same as all the other sports. So, but again, like, we're not really going blow for blow right now because, honestly, go watch this match. Like, if you're watching the VOD of this, pause it, go watch the match, come back here and be like, yeah, I get what these guys are saying. I get why there was, like, a rant. I get why, like, we're talking about just like how this feels different compared to like just a week ago with everything. Like it makes sense. Just man, it was really good. It was I don't want to glaze it too much, but at the same time, it's just like I had fun with this, you know, and I want to have fun with my wrestling. Just like, you know, as we transition now to our WWE title picture, this was awesome too. Like, legitimately, I'm sitting there listening to John Cena and Randy Orton cut a promo on each other. And I shit you not, dude. I shit you not. I felt like I was a teenager again. I felt like this was like 20 years ago, me just watching like a Thursday night SmackDown at around that point. It was on Thursdays and pre-taped. Like, I thought I was watching Thursday night SmackDown again with the fist out there. You know, I thought I was seeing Randy Orton again, like, after he just left Evolution, still keeping that Legend Killer gimmick and all that. Like, working with his dad against The Undertaker, like, things like that. Like, this took me back to just a simpler time. And just, it shows what it means to be a professional in that ring cutting a promo. Because these two have a lot of history. And I'm glad, like, Orton mentioned that at the beginning. He's just like, yeah, we've known each other for 25 years. I shook your hand about 25 years ago, so we know each other. And it's just like, it's so weird. It's so interesting that we have this dynamic now where, like, because throughout all their time in WWE, whenever Orton and Cena faced each other, Orton was the heel, Cena was the face. This time, for the last time, the roles are switched, and by God, I'm just blown away again. I'm just blown away again about the quality that we got from this. Like, there was a moment where Cena, like, his ad lib with somebody in the crowd, like literally saying, "I raised your kids. Oh look, your 6-year-old's flipping me off. Good parenting out there." And then like there was a moment where he's just like, "You're gonna fight me? Yeah, no, you're a loser, dude. Get out of here." Like that's so good. That's how you work a crowd as a professional. Like, oh my gosh, it was just really good. From like Orton be like, "Look, I know you have a void in you. Like, I know what that is. Just be a dad, and you'll be fine. Yeah, you've been great for all these kids, but just be a dad." And Cena's like, "No, because I've been a parent for like 25 years." Like, this is what I was talking about earlier. Everything just makes sense when it comes to each character. But before I just ramble even more about this segment, what were your initial thoughts on all of this drop? Like, just playing upon the history with John Cena, Randy Orton, like the fact that John wants to just end Orton's chances at getting 14, or 15, I mean, which also adds to an extra little caveat we should probably mention. But before we get to all that, just your initial thoughts on this promo segment between John and Randy.
So it was really nice to see both of these guys come together once again, because, like you, I saw these guys come together when I was a lot younger. I remember all the matches that they had with one another. I remember, a lot of people saying, "Oh my God, when is this going to end?" Because it was quite repetitive back then, because they literally used to fight every single time. So it's like, I understood that when it came to, well, actually, I didn't really understand that because I was a kid, so I was just watching whatever was on television. But it's just really interesting to see, like, how far both of them has come ever since, like, the very beginning, like, looking at where they are all those years ago when Cena was around consistently all the time, like, every single week, if it was, like, a Monday Night Raw or whatever, button heads of Orton, and then just looking at them together in the ring now, just seeing Randy, like, even bigger than him. It's just a surreal moment just to get, like, a lot of these last matches with a lot of Cena's rivals this year. Like, this was it was really nice seeing them together, like, I will say that.
Yeah. And again, just like the way they turn everything around, like Randy basically saying, "Hey John, you have this Hollywood brain rot, and yeah, it's great that you're doing this extra thing, but now you just feel like an outsider." And then John just turning that around, being like, "Yeah, I wanted to do more because there is more out there, and I did more, and now that I'm coming back, you're calling me an outsider? The man who kind of just built this company, like the company wouldn't be what it is without me around. Like the hard work I put in for the past 25 years, whether I was here or not, that was all me. Like, he was the one going out there doing these Make-A-Wish moments for kids, not Randy." I don't even know if Randy's ever done one.
Yeah, I don't really know.
That's a metric to look up. But like, I just kind of look at some of the, because in the notes I kind of like tried to get as much as I could, because there was a lot of good shit in this. Or like John again turning on the crowd, calling us hypocrites for going to the next fun toy when it's time to, and yeah, just John's just done with this manipulation from not only like the crowd but from the company as well. Because like a lot of these guys, like especially Orton, do you really think you have any right to talk to John about like betraying the crowd or anything like that? Like you really want to put that? But I like how Randy twisted it into like a fatherhood kind of thing. Because John doesn't have kids, that's his own choice and all that. Fine, cool, whatever. But also, in a way, he was kind of an integral part for a lot of people growing up. I mean, me and Drop had watched wrestling since we were little tykes ourselves. Like one of my first SmackDowns that I actually ever watched. It was a little bit after that Ruthless Aggression promo from Vince, and John Cena comes out to face Kurt Angle. That was one of my first SmackDowns I ever actually watched. Like that, and that's crazy to think about. That was 23 years ago. you know? And I mean, I know I took my little break from wrestling, but it's just like John was there. John was there to like kind of form some of my more formative years and all that. So I get that where it's just like, oh yeah, I raised these kids, you know, a little bit more in the 2010s and all you that, but yeah, he just makes sense, and I get it. I get it. And he's tired of it. He's done with it. I mean, he even points out the guy that he yelled at. He's just like, yeah, I made that guy turn pale in just a moment. I had to deal with that for 25 years. Ah, man. And Randy acknowledges that he's just like, I thought I was stupid because we're in this bizarro world now, this bizarro universe where it's like I'm the good guy. How am I the good guy? How is Randall Keith Orton the good guy in all of this after all that he's done in the past 20 years? Oh man, it's just really good. Again, this is like two professionals. This is like, I mean, dare I say, for some of those Attitude Era people out there, this is very akin to when like The Rock and Stone Cold get back together and do their shit. You know, or like when Triple H gets into it with somebody. Like that again, this is so good. Like this is what you strive to be in a promo. This is how a promo battle should be. Not, you know, oh Tiffy, your voice is so high. Like, no, it's not that at all. You know? And sorry to throw shade at Charlotte, but I mean that's just the thing. That's just it. I mean it's just so. I know. Again, I'm gushing right now, guys. I'm gushing about this, but I just don't care because it was just really good. This is what I look for in my WWE product. Oh man, and Randy even continues on, you know, saying, you know, you want to ruin wrestling, the business that like built my family. No, you're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna let you do that. Because this, like, wrestling is my thing. This is my product. This is my livelihood. I'm not going to let you do that. Ah, man. But I do want to touch on this part really quick because John comes back. He's just like, when I leave, like, you're at 14 right now, Orton. And if I leave, you're never going to get it again. And I'm just sitting there thinking, wait, but it's 14-time world champion in WWE. Like, is John just? I assume with this it's just John being like, you know, you're never gonna hold this title again, which is fine. But he kind of twisted it as just like, okay, well, you'll never get 15 again, and it's just like, okay, you could say that, but you're just talking about because he'll still get 15 in general. I mean, there's a whole other world heavyweight title to add to that number. Mm-hmm. But I'm assuming John means just like with that lineage, because that lineage would die with John. But how did you feel about John like adding that aspect to it and basically telling Orton, hey, when I'm done with you, it's going to be like 3 generations that I'm going to kill off right there. Like, what do you think of John like twisting that around?
I mean, the way you look at it, that's like the whole entire like thing he's trying to strive with right now when it comes to taking whatever big names came with that title with him at the end of the year. So, like, in his eyes, if they were to create another new title out of thin air that would resemble this, so like can kind of like start its own little lineage that he's picturing in his head, he's more than likely looking at it in a way where it's like, okay, you know, whatever you had here, it's gone. It's a complete reset. It's almost like you just erased history, pretty much, when it came to all 14 wins that Randy Orton had, and then he's just starting off at square one, and then you have other guys that haven't even been in the business that long already ahead of him. So it's like I understood that sort of mindset that he was saying and everything, but like that's the kind of stuff that you need to say to really get these two guys going. That's why I named like one of the titles in the video, you know, Cena and Orton got heated in this promo battle, going back and forth with one another, like really trying to pull the best out of each other, because, you know, there's definitely a lot of things there that John's trying to do. Because one of the things that we have talked about that a lot of people seem to, like, I guess the best way to put it, one of the things that we talked about that people don't really seem to understand when John Cena says he's going to ruin wrestling, a lot of people look at it in a way where it's like it's an excuse for poor booking, or just do like a shitty little angle like we saw on Sunday night. So in his image, he's pretty much taking away the lineage, all the important things when it comes to this current title run that he's on. That's pretty much what he's trying to say. And when he says he's not giving the fans what they want, he's pretty much saying, I'm not going to kiss your ass. Like, oh, okay, you're going to cheer for me after I won the Big 17. Like, no, that's not going to happen. He's going to continue going down this character arc that he's currently right now and pushing what he truly believes in. So I feel like that's one of the things I wanted to put out there, just so people get a better understanding of what he means. Because when I look at it like that, I understand. Not like the little tidbits that a lot of people try to throw in there to really throw it in a completely different direction that he's not even referring to. But I did like how he gave it to Randy here, and one of the best things, honestly, that he even said here is that he wants to bring the best out of Randy. Like when him and Randy go toe to toe in Backlash, he wants to see that side of Randy that he's always known. And obviously, when you start triggering him, you mentioned the lineage and taking away from his family and everything along the lines of that. I mean, that's one of the ways to really get to it. And I like how also Randy brought up as well when he was like mentioning Cody's song. He's like, but when Cody's song starts, he mentions like wrestling has more than one royal family. And he was saying that's not Cody talking about himself. That's Cody talking about, me as well when it comes to me and Cowboy Bob Orton, etc., so on. That's pretty much what he's referring to. So it's like there's not that one person, kind of like the Samoans, for example, that pretty much run everything. Like you got the Rhodes, you got the Ortons, you got can't really think of anybody else on top of my head, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like you have the people there that strive to keep pushing things forward when it comes to how they want their lineage to be presented when it comes to carrying on that legacy, if the father's no longer doing it and then the son or daughter steps in to really keep pushing it forward. So I really liked how Randy mentioned that line as well, to really nail it in the coffin when it comes to what he was trying to say to Cena in this segment.
Yeah, it's just I like how Cena also accepted Orton's challenge, because like Orton was ready to fight tonight, which any baby face is against a heel champion. Of course, the heel champion's gonna back down, but I like how John backed down, because it's like we could fight right here, but I don't want that, and you don't want that either. This isn't the stage for that. And John, he said, well, we can fight at Backlash. It's your hometown. So that way he could, embarrass Orton and all that. And I thought John executed this part really well. Because, just the way he was saying his lines and the way he was, coming off, it was a very villain-esque Cena thing to say. And just, the way he was saying it. Just, I'm going to beat you. Because it even just adds even more to the whole, I'm going to take this title away and you're never going to see it again. That lineage is dead now. You will never be able to add, even if you get number 15 for your world titles, that's great and all, but it's not going to be with this. It's not going to be with the lineage that really means something to this business. It's going to be just with a new toy that you can buy on WWEshop.com at $19.99 or whatever. So I loved how John did that, and I love just his body language now too, because when he gets to the ring, he does hold the title up, but his head's down, it's all in shadow. It's just I'm your champion right now. I'm not gonna pander to you. I'm just gonna show you that this is mine. And again, it just body language speaks wonders to us. But I guess, how did you feel about just John's performance overall, especially compared to the lead up to WrestleMania? Because there were instances where it's just okay, John, you're kind of coming off as too try hard, but I thought tonight he really got into that heel character and that heel persona of what John Cena can be. But what are your thoughts on just his heel work tonight, really?
Yeah, I'm hoping he can really like step in that direction that he was in tonight, so we can really see what he can brings to the table in this heel run. Because the way that he
Yeah.
presented himself towards Randy Orton, that's kind of the stuff that I wanted to see to begin with. And maybe it's like that because he's known Orton a lot longer than Cody when it comes to like really working with him in the ring, considering all the history that they have. So it might be easier for him to
Mhm.
really think about what he's going to say, how he's going to approach certain situations or whatever. But it's like this is what I want to see. Like I want to see,
Yeah.
more things along the lines of, not just attacking the crowd every single week, but actually acknowledging, what his opponent is saying. Like I'm expecting to get the same
Mhm.
thing out of CM Punk and whoever else crosses his way, potentially in AJ Styles. We don't really know how things are really going to line up when it comes to like other people, but those are the two people I can really think of on the top of my head. But it's like that's what
Yeah.
I really want to see, dive into that history, look at how things were going on at that time and kind of bring it back to light today and see like how much things have changed ever since you and this person has crossed paths. Because a lot of the people that he's going up against this year are a lot of his foes from all those years ago that were heels. I mean, when he went up against
Mhm.
Punk, which is arguably probably one of his best rivals alongside Orton, uh, that's pretty much another person that's going to be very interesting to see what he's going to pull out of there to
Mhm.
really make a similar situation happen with Randy Orton tonight. Like that's all I really want, because there was a part of me, I will admit, tonight when I saw him attacking the crowd that I really wasn't the biggest fan of, because I kind of got a little tiresome
Mhm.
of that after a while. But after he started bringing things together, I started to get behind it, because it's like I
Yeah.
understand the whole thing that he has with the crowd when it comes to how they were treated him and everything, but there's also things that I really wanted to see when it comes to him attacking his opponents a lot more and actually acknowledging their flaws and what they're doing that's going
Mhm.
against his philosophy right now. Because I mean, if we're getting stuff like this of Orton, and then we're gonna get it whenever they cross paths again, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you want to see on television, so the audience can get invested
Yeah.
when it comes to whatever story you're telling around the time leading into the match to see how things go. So
Yeah. So, and I'm glad you mentioned the thing about the crowd thing too, because like I think again, John John played upon the crowd a lot better this week, and a lot better, mainly on this SmackDown than he has in the past few weeks. Like actually using them, and I think would help too. And part of me hopes he does this, like he continues to do it this way. But just I guess be careful of who you use or whatever. But he mainly used one guy. Like he chose one guy to be like his anchor in the crowd. And that works really well because like you'll see like a stand-up comedian, for example, at certain points they'll like pinpoint at one person, like, oh, here goes red shirt, they're getting up to go to the bathroom. Oh, bye red shirt, hopefully you enjoyed the show. And then like a couple minutes later there's like a bunch of big laughs, and then they sees, hey look, red shirt guy's finally back. Oh, I hope you washed your hands, you were gone very quick. Like it's just the stand-up comic using what he's saying or she's saying or whatever. It's using what they're saying and like enhancing their show and all that. And Cena did a really good job tonight with doing that with the crowd. He had a
yeah,
kid right there. Like literally, they were talking about kids. John pointed at the kid, and good on the kid too for doing this. Even though your parents should probably talk to you after doing this. The 6-year-old kid like flicked John off, and John's just like, oh yeah, that's really good parenting. Like again, he playing upon that and using that not only just to play and pander to the audience a bit, but like to enhance your own promo work and your own reasonings in the ring right there. Like it's just really good stuff, and how you like really enhance your statement that you're trying to make. Because and again, I think John did a really good job with that tonight, far better than he has in the past few weeks. And I mean, say what you want about like the match quality we'll get between Randy and John, because again, if they were slow and methodical back in the day, just think of this one. Just think of this version and how long this one's gonna feel and probably be, because this one might be another, like, they might give this a 30-minute thing.
Yeah.
Which, get ready for that, everybody.
As long as it's Cena on
because
his
again,
own
this one's what's up?
As long as it's Cena on his own this time. I don't need Travis Scott coming out every match.
Yeah, no, please, no more Travis Scott. I'm good. I'm done. I don't even want the tag match that they keep rumoring about. I don't want it. No, stay away.
Yeah.
Stay away, please. Oh my gosh. And I mean, I guess the only other thing to add, or at least that I can think about adding right now, R-Truth comes up to Cena later on and gets the cold shoulder from him, which, okay, cool, great. We're going to kind of play upon that. There might be a moment where, because a lot of people are thinking that Cena's just going to unleash fury on R-Truth, and that could still happen. We might be building to a moment like that, which Cena would be getting some massive heat for.
Yeah, I feel like they need to eventually, like, do that angle, have him throw him up against, a truck or whatever the hell they're doing around the time if he happens to appear in the ring, because, he's getting the heat. But if you take somebody like R-Truth, somebody that a lot of people love just because of the kind of person that he is, that's definitely going to get a good reaction out of him. I mean, look at what it did with, like, other people that mishandled R-Truth in the past. They got booed out of the ass because of the kind of stunts that they pulled with him. So I like how they acknowledged it, and they'll probably lead into it sometime. We don't exactly know when that's going to be. But the only other thing I was going to bring up outside of that is there was no Cody Rhodes tonight. And I wanted to bring that up mainly because this would potentially be the time you would see him. Because what I was realistically thinking in my head coming into the show, I thought we were going to see him, and then something was going to play out between him and McIntyre, because they've been saying this thing about McIntyre moving on to, something else, but obviously we know the sort of direction he's going down later in the show that we'll talk about. But there is, like, no Cody here, and I'm fine with that. I don't want it to be too long, maybe about, I guess I could say like a month at max. I wouldn't do like 2 to 3 to 4 months without him. I think that's overkill. But at least like a couple weeks or so, a month at max, so we could understand exactly like what he's going to be doing next as well. Because, I mean, the idea that I have is not there anymore, because looks like it's building into something else, so I don't really know what he's going to do.
And I'm kind of glad that I'm kind of glad that Cody is off screen right now, because the crowds for WrestleMania were kind of starting to go against him. So it might be best just to kind of, cool off a little bit. And plus, the man has put in so much work. Give him a bit of a break. He's earned it.
Him and Gunther, actually.
Just like Gunther. Apparently, Gunther asked for...
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Him and Gunther are both going to have some time off. Apparently, Cody's going to Disney, which... Okay, interesting. Good on you. Good on you, dude. Go visit Disney. But I did want to point out something really quick. I saw this in the chat from Sweetie Pie Forever, and this is a good statement. I guess I want to end this with, or at least discussion with. Do you think Randy's going to be the one to like bring back the old John Cena? Like, do you think, like, I don't know if it'll be this match, but maybe an interaction later on this year? Like, do you think Randy will be the catalyst to kind of bring Cena back?
What I personally think, I think it's going to be multiple people. And the reason why I say that is I feel like every opponent he goes up against, it's going to bring a little something out of him to get him back on track again where he needs to be. So it's going to start off with Orton. It's going to start off with Punk. It's going to start off with, AJ Styles, just throwing him out there because that's the only other really person I can think of that would make sense for him to come in contact with. But it's like you're going to have those people that he's close to really bring him out again. So I feel like it's probably going to be like multiple people, just little tidbits trying to bring him back to his old self. I'll do Randy, like I said, Punk, AJ, whoever else comes along the way. I would throw KO in there, but obviously, things changed with that. But I feel like it's going to be more than one person. Not going to get it right away, but little by little, that light bulb will start shining again.
Yeah, I would agree with you, and I think Orton is the start of that.
Yeah.
Mainly because again, he Orton mainly focused on like the kid aspect of it,
Yeah.
and how like John is a good Samaritan in that
Oh.
aspect. So
You know what?
yeah,
Now that you bring that up, maybe it's like certain message with each of the guys. You got Orton bringing up the connection that he has with the kids, and then the rest of them are bringing up something else that was like a quality that John's known to have.
Yeah.
Like you could even have Punk
Mhm.
could really nail into
go
the
ahead.
whole hustle, loyalty, respect thing.
Yep.
That was one of his main things
Yeah, I
he
was
brought
thinking.
up after Elimination
I was thinking.
Chamber.
Yeah, I was thinking Punk being more like a pride kind of thing. Like, okay,
yeah.
where's your pride at? Like, and because that ties in very well with like what you were saying with like hustle, loyalty, respect, and all that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they could really play upon that with Punk and all that. I'm trying to think of what other old heads I guess he could be facing off with. I mean that he could eventually, I guess, go against Drew or anything, but maybe not, since we're kind of seeing a different direction with Drew and all that. But we'll have to wait and see. Plus, that would be heel versus heel. Yeah, a lot of stuff to kind of speculate and add on, but I'm sure we'll get a little bit more fuel as we continue on towards Backlash, which is only like 3 weeks away, or 2 weeks away. No, it's 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's May 10th. Oh my gosh, that's 2 weeks away. Holy
it's really close.
People. Well, at least at least really the build's gonna be quick.
Yeah, it makes you question, when are they doing this
draft? All right. The what?
It makes you question when they doing this draft.
Yeah, I know. Like there were rumors about it. I know they haven't announced anything. Maybe after Backlash, which I mean that would.
Yeah.
What's the event after Backlash? Is that going to be Money in the Bank? Whatever's in June.
I don't know. I don't know if it's that or that Night of Champions thing that we talked about on Grappling with the Week. Is that normally like a little middle spot before that? But I don't know. Because it's like the way that they did it past years, it's always like they did the draft around this time. And then after Backlash, that's pretty much where Triple H was like, okay, after this PLE, whoever's on either show, that's game right there. Like everything is, finally wrapped up and we can move forward with that. But I'm guessing after Backlash, maybe sometime in June. I don't know.
Okay. Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that and with announcements that they make and all that. But we got other things to talk about. We already talked about the main event. We already talked about the start of the show, really.
Yeah.
Let's talk about all the other things within the show, because, this was a nice little sandwich of things that happened in our wrestling program. And the first thing we're going to touch upon is we got a big old return tonight. We got Aleister Black returning to the WWE. He comes back with his original theme from NXT. So thank you for getting that back, getting the presentation of Aleister Black back on your TVs. He gives a good old black mask to The Miz because he's out there bitching and moaning that he wasn't on the WrestleMania card. They've already got a match set for next week. I'll start off with this. Drop, how excited are you that Aleister Black is back with all of his old stuff from the last time he was in WWE? Because me and you were very happy in our chat on our Discord.
Yeah, I'm very happy he's getting the presentation that I wanted him to have, because I didn't want him to come back like any other person where he had like a new theme song. He just walked out there and that's it. Like, to me, this actually looks like they're taking their time with the guy. Like, they gave him the music. They didn't just give him the music. They gave him the whole entire entrance that he had at NXT when it comes to the candles, when it comes to him getting lifted up when he comes out of that coffin and everything. Like, he had the complete package. Like, it goes to show the way that he came out tonight, that people actually gave a fuck about him. When it's like, holy shit, when do you see people coming out there with music like that? Like, rock music like that, where it actually sounds like a wrestling theme? You got to be getting some special treatment if you're getting brought back to the company to really get put on that level that I honestly think Triple H, since this is his second chance, because I know he wanted to do this years ago, but obviously things headed south because of what happened with Vince and how he was booked on the main roster and he didn't really have any control over that. But like the overall presentation Triple H had from in the past, like this was one of his guys, just like how the DIY was when it came to Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa. Like you knew back then if you watched the product with Black and Gold, Triple H had those guys he had his eye on, kind of like how he was with Seth Rollins and just certain people like that. So the fact that he has the complete package, he has the look, he has everything else beyond that. It's very telling that he's going to be getting some special treatment, which is why I said before, and if people want to call me crazy, that's fine. But I honestly feel like if Triple H really wants to take this seriously and he really wants to position him the way that he wants to be, because essentially the way you look at it, like I understand the Undertaker's like an icon, but in that way, this is kind of like Triple H's NXT version of the Undertaker when it comes to how mystical this guy is, when it comes to the overall presentation and how mysterious he is and everything. And I'm not trying to make comparisons between the both of them. This is pretty much like one of Triple H's kids that he brought to the table and brought them to where they are today. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe like a year or two down the line, you see this guy in like top programs with a lot of the other guys we see, like a Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, running it back at Cody Rhodes, people like that. Like I'd actually see it because he has a complete package. So I'm happy he's getting treated well. And I mean, as soon as that was one of the first things I listened to, I was like, he has to have the theme. I don't want it to be some stupid remix. Like I was hoping it didn't have that typical shit where they say something stupid in the beginning, or like I was expecting like some muffled like demonic, like some demonic voice or whatever. It's almost like you hear from the Street Profits, that little demonic voice, or the New Day little demonic voice, and then the song starts playing. I was like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, okay, everything's the way that I expect it to be. So I was just happy, man. Like he looks great. He looks happy to be there. I saw pictures of him and Zelina backstage when she won the title, giving her a kiss and everything. So she's probably happy that she's able to go to work and see her husband there every single day. And it's always nice to travel with your partner. So, I mean, that's good on her. But yeah, I was happy. I mean, that was probably one of my highlights of the night, like outside of like the tag match and the segment with Orton and everything. This was probably like one of my favorite parts of the night. And I felt like they did it very well, saved it after WrestleMania to really establish like, okay, this is what we're going to be doing moving forward when it comes to a lot of the plans that we have with these guys.
Yeah. So, I'm just looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see what Triple H can do with this version of Aleister Black.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm glad we're getting a Miz feud done first. Just, get that out of the way, get the gatekeeper out of the way,
Yeah.
And hopefully, I guess my only other thing too with it is like I'm hoping Carmelo Hayes doesn't get feed into this, because he's riding a good momentum right now. I mean, hell, he's got a brand new chain with Andre the Giant's face on it, like great. And the fact he mentioned it himself as the 10th wonder of the world, I hope he kind of runs with that a bit, because that's really good marketing right there. Just adding to the whole like him persona kind of thing, like that's just brilliant work right there. Like that's how I hope he like made that up on his own.
Yeah,
like just because it's freaking Carmelo Hayes. Like the guy's great at what he does. Like give the man some props. Give him something good to work with, and just a simple thing like that. That's great, saying, oh, when I wear this, I'm going to imagine I'm 7 feet tall and all that. Like, get that mindset that, like, you're in an unstoppable force against these people. Like, because that will, like, skyrocket you into the next level and all that.
Yeah, that's what I want to see with him. That's why I'm hoping, like, after Miz, you're not going to be having a program. I'm not saying I'm not against Aleister and him having a match, because obviously it would be a great match if they did. But I'm honestly hoping he continues to ride this momentum, because if I see him and Aleister Black in a match, I don't expect Melo to go over, because it seems like they're going to protect him and book him strong. Like if I had to put two of them in the room, I mean, just based on what I'm seeing so far, they would probably try to protect Aleister Black a lot more. I don't really think that have Melo go up against him and beat him just because he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. What I'm honestly hoping is that Melo kind of like takes some time to look at the spot that he's in, and he knows that he made it there himself, and maybe you get some sort of light bulb pop in his head, and he figures out he doesn't really need Miz anymore down the line, which I feel like that's definitely the story that they're probably going to tell, and then we can move on to better things, because it's a reset after Mania, so I'm hoping, he has some big things in store, because sometimes when you have like a lot of those people that win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, they sometimes get some big moments later on. I mean, Bronson Reed's a good example. Look what happened to him last year. He had a pretty big moment that really pushed him to the next level when it came to being that person where when people saw him, they're like, holy shit, this guy's here.
Yeah. Man, I'm excited to see where things go. I'm excited to see his booking. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic. But he wasn't the only debut on tonight's SmackDown. We had a new tag team make their debut against Los Garza. We had Fraxiom there. It is now Friday Night Fraxiom, as it's being tagged right now. Great match between the two teams. Not gonna lie, I couldn't really pay attention at the time. I had to take care of a couple things, but I did see like a couple spots, like mainly the ending, with the Spanish fly into the Phoenix Splash and all that. But like what I could see in between, like the beginning and the end, it was good. A solid match to kind of like get the mainstream WWE audience to understand what Fraxium's all about, how they are as a team, and just what they're going to be going forward. And I mean, a great team to kind of start off against in Los Garza. But I'm happy to see Fraxium on here, and I can't wait for them to get a shot at the tag titles, because them versus the Street Profits. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Like, that's going to be a crazy good time. But you're more of the NXT guy. What do you think of Fraxium's move to SmackDown, and especially compared to if they went to Raw and all that? And where do you think, like, how you think they'll be booked on SmackDown overall?
I mean, I'm hoping they keep that same momentum they had in NXT and bring that over to SmackDown, because if you're looking at tag teams that's really going to help push that division, like I said earlier when it came to that TLC match, they're another good example, because they really made those NXT titles mean something when they were down there defending those titles all the time, putting on great matches, having matches against the Hardys, having matches against other tag teams in NXT, and everything along the lines of that. So it's like you really wanna, give your audience like these explosive matches. You throw those two guys in there, they're gonna bring you to another level every single week. And like you mentioned before with the Street Profits, knowing how they have similar styles, especially when it comes to at least Montez Ford, when it comes to how he moves around in the ring. Like, I can only imagine like the kind of stunts that Fraxiom and the Street Profits could, really throw together when it comes to them being on the main roster and showcasing what they're made of. Like, I'm not upset that they're on SmackDown, but I will say at first I kind of wanted them on Raw, only because I feel like you already have a lot of good SmackDowns on SmackDown as it is. And I'm not saying they can't be there, but there was a part of me at first thinking, well, the Raw division needs some fuel, and if you throw them in there, I mean, you could easily just warm them up a little bit, have them win the titles, and pretty much carry your division from there. But I'm just hoping they just keep that momentum moving forward, because this is the kind of tag team that you can look at, and if you fuck up their booking, it kind of makes you feel like how do you fuck up, out of all people, how do you fuck up Fraxiom? Like, that's just something that makes you think, like, there's literally everything there. There's literally everything you want to be there to have the tag titles mean something on SmackDown and bring it to the level like the guys did tonight. Like, if you by chance mess that up, I mean, you're freaking crazy at that point. But I'm wishing for the best for them. I'm happy that they're on the main roster, and I can't wait to see what they do. Like, I can't wait to see the other matches that we get with these guys. Like, not even just like tag matches. Like, they're also great if they did singles matches on their own. Not saying they're going separate ways, but if they ever went up against, a one-on-one or whatever, I mean, they also do very well with that. And I'm happy that they're together, because I know some people were coming up with that theory that I saw about them potentially, joining Paul Heyman's new group that I saw over the week. I'm against that, because they're just such a good tag team. You can't pull that away.
Yeah. Yeah, and if anything, if they were to move to Raw after a little bit of time, Raw needs the tag teams.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah. Like, I think that's my only note with this, is just like, kind of wanted them. I also kind of wanted them on Raw to kind of, give them a shot of adrenaline. But it's fine if SmackDown's going to end up being the tag team show, then so be it. That will be great. That will be fantastic. But yeah, I mean, I have no other notes to add to that. Again, we'll just have to see how their booking goes moving forward. And I mean, speaking of moving forward, we're going to be moving forward with our U.S. title, because we had an impromptu number one contenders match made tonight between Drew McIntyre and LA Knight. But how did we get there? What is the story? Why should we be invested? Well, we have a couple parts that goes into this. So it starts off with Solo and Jacob Fatu coming out to the ring, and Solo taking credit for everything that Jacob Fatu has accomplished in WWE. Like, nobody wanted this man to be in the company, to be part of the bloodline. Nobody thought he could, do anything right. Nobody thought he could win a championship or, like, be as over as he is. But you know what? It's all because of me. I brought him in. I taught him how to do it. And, like, Jacob Fatu, I am the reason that he is here right now. And I love how Jacob, there's a shot too where the camera, like, it doesn't fully focus on Jacob, but you can see him in the back, like when Solo starts doing this, like, self-praising of himself, where he just looks at him with a scowl, and you think, oh, he's just gonna yank that microphone out of his mouth, and then he yanks the microphone out of his mouth, and I love it, because he's doubling down on what he said the other night. Like, you're either with me or you're against me, and he would rather you be with him. But he beat Knight on his own, no family help and all that. And, like, he just said, I didn't need it with you. I did this. I brought the title back to our family. I brought us some sort of prestige with this. Yep. What did you do? You haven't done shit since you've been Solo and all that. Pun intended. Yeah, and so I guess we'll start with the Bloodline segment here. What did you think of just, like, Jacob's words, I guess, towards Solo? And, I mean, Solo's actions, they don't surprise me at all. Because we saw this, too, when they won the tag titles, like, a few months ago, and Solo's just like, all right, Jacob, give me your title belt, or give Tonga Loa the title belt. Yeah, what do you think of just, like, this segment at first with Jacob and Solo involved?
This was one of the things I was actually looking forward to seeing on tonight's show, because I was very curious to see how Jacob was going to react, because I had a feeling in the back of my head that Solo Sikoa was going to come out, say a whole bunch of shit, saying that this is the reason why Jacob's the way he is. Like, no. If you follow what Jacob has been doing, he's been doing all this stuff on his own. Like, Jacob never struck me as a guy that needed help to get to where he needed to be. And he even said that to Solo, like, during the segment itself. He's like, I'm either doing this without you, or I'm doing it on, or he basically just saying, it's like, I'm able to achieve things on my own. You don't always have to be in my corner with everything that's going on. So I kind of like how, he's being upfront with him, because it shows that, potential tease down the line where these guys are going to be going down their separate ways, which I feel like you eventually have to touch on. I don't know if that's going to be after this Fatal 4-Way match that more than likely could take place at the Backlash pay-per-view. I'm hoping, or, I mean, it could even take place the SmackDown before that, but I mean, I wouldn't mind having that as a pay-per-view match, to be completely honest. But it's like...
Oh, no, I wouldn't either.
I'm glad that he stuck up for himself, because I feel like when it
Yeah.
comes to Jacob Fatu, if he's good, like once he breaks off on his own, he honestly I honestly think he's gonna be one of those characters like a Stone Cold, like a Roman Reigns, and just basically one of those characters where it's like you don't need to make him a face, you don't need to make him a heel, you just have to have them be themselves. That's just the kind of person that Jacob Fatu like strikes me as, where he's just himself. Like LA Knight, he's just himself. He's pretty much like, if you look at LA Knight, like yeah, he's a face, but he still acts like LA Knight, like minus like the heelish things that he says.
Especially
He still
tonight.
he still acts like him. So it's like that LA Knight character never really went away. And sometimes you could even say that about Drew. Like Drew's just pretty much Drew. He's just being himself as well. So it's like that's how I feel like Jacob Fatu is gonna be when he heads down that line. And it's also like we said before, like once you strap that title to him, you have instant credibility, like straight off the bat, just because of the kind of performer he is and everything that he could bring to the table. And you look at the mid-card division that's currently there right now, based on what they showed us tonight. You got Drew McIntyre involved in there, even though I expect him to be like somewhere else later down the line towards the year. You get LA Knight in there. You have Damian Priest, and there's another guy in there. I guess you could probably throw Solo in there down the line, but it's like I'm hoping that we figure out exactly like what we're gonna do with these guys, because as much as I want to see this match, as much as I'm excited for it, because that's why we didn't really have an outcome tonight when it came to the match between not Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre and LA Knight. I'm hoping that they find some sort of plans for Drew and LA later in the year, because if you're gonna do stuff with Priest or whoever else around that time, that's fine. Because I feel like, if they want to chill here for a little bit and they want to venture back there down the line, they can. But I feel like there's a lot of open doors for Drew and LA down the line when it comes to things that they could potentially do. But I am pretty excited for this match, though. And the reason why I said man in the chat, because at first I was kind of like let down, only because I didn't really like how the match came to a no contest, like it was a DQ. Yeah. But like after looking at it, I was like, you know what, this would be a pretty cool fatal 4-way, but I'm just hoping it's not a consistent thing that we see all the time. So I can let it slide tonight and everything. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, mid-card division, based on this title alone, I'm honestly hoping that it could get to the level that it needs to be. It's kind of hard not to get it there with the kind of performers that are involved there.
Oh yeah, no, they have top performers going on right now. And Triple H, you heard it here. The Drop is tired of your multi-man manias. Let's not bring it towards our multi-man backlashes. That would just be again, it's the diminishing return thing and all that. But yeah, so like continuing on with what happened here, so LA Knight comes out, and I'm glad LA Knight did this, and then I was kind of expecting this tonight as well, and this kind of stirs the pot a little bit more when it comes to Solo and Jacob breaking up and all that.
Oh yeah,
because LA Knight does admit, he's just like, yeah, you know what, you were the better man. I told you I'd give you a BFT, and I did. Yeah, all that stuff, and like. He was kind of giving Jacob his flowers just a little bit, like in an LA Knight way, where it's just like, I lost. That's great, but I'm moving forward. I'm looking towards the future, and I want my rematch and all that. So yeah, really good on LA Knight there. And then when Drew's out and saying his piece and everything, LA Knight's just in the corner sleeping, being like, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you done yet?" And also like the fact that Drew's going after Jacob Fatu, and he even rationalizes it too. He's just like I could have gone after John, but Randy wants to jump ahead of line, and even though I beat him a few weeks ago, fine, whatever. But it's obvious John doesn't want to fight, and like the fact he's justifying wanting to go for the U.S. title because he wants to fight Jacob Fatu.
Yeah,
like that's kind of cool, because not only are you kind of building up Jacob Fatu even more, you're kind of building up the U.S. title as well, because it's like he is the United States champion, and I mean the guys who are gunning for that title, they are either past world champions or future world champions. I just thought like adding to the segment and all that, and of course, Drew and LA Knight getting involved because they both want a shot. I mean, again, I just thought it was really good. It was really well put together. It was really well acted as well. Because again, like everyone just felt natural. Like LA Knight, of course he's not going to just stand there and listen to freaking Drew McIntyre ramble on about how he's been screwed for the past year and all that. And even with Drew, like his rationality is like, I get that. It's just like, all right, yeah, you know what? You're not going to wait to get gold from anybody. You're not going to wait to fight anybody. You're just going to find somebody who's going to be the best fight for you. And he's choosing Jacob Fatu, which good. That shows that you're paying attention to your product. You know who you want to face. You know who you want to fight and want to take down and all that. Yeah, man, do it. Do your thing. And yeah, like you said, like the match was great overall. It's just I too wasn't too big of a fan of the finish, just because like not the whole thing about like, oh, the multi-man manias and all that, but like. Just because it just kind of, I don't want to say lazy, but it just kind of comes off as like, okay, well, we keep doing this with like some of these number one contender matches.
Yeah.
Can we not? Like, again, law of diminishing returns with that. It's just like, can we figure out a different way to like not have them involved? I don't know, but it's still a good segment and still like a good match, and even the post match stuff too, with like Solo thumbing LA Knight, Priest coming out to cause the DQ and all that, and then Jacob Fatu just coming out of nowhere and just destroying everybody. Like, yeah, I thought the match and the segment were really well done.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah. But anything else you want to add before we move on to something else?
I'm just hoping down the line we get that like one-on-one match between Drew and Jacob, because I feel like that was like the part of it tonight that wanted a winner, like a proper winner, because that's something I just really wanted to see so bad, just to see what they can make out of it. Because we haven't gotten it yet. Dude. So when I saw the opportunity there, I was like, are we going to get it or not? But, I mean, hopefully down the line.
I about flipped out when I heard Drew's music hit.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where it's just like, oh, yeah, you don't really think about it until it's given to you. And, like, or at least the possibility is given to you. And you're just like, oh, I want that. Yep. I want that desperately. Give it to me. Like, put that on a pay-per-view and I will watch it and probably watch it 5 times more beyond that.
Oh yeah.
But speaking of decent things and good things happening to good people, we had the women's US title on the line where Chelsea Green was defending against Zelina Vega. Vega finally getting her shot after, not only pinning Chelsea Green, but winning by a count out and all that. But that's whatever with that victory. I thought the match was fine. Again, like Chelsea Green's style is more like dirty and kind of more gritty, I guess, or like I don't know the right word to kind of put it. Because I don't want to say sloppy, because that kind of entails that she's not good in the ring, which she is. She's good at what she does in the ring and all that. But I mean, I thought the match was fine, and the whole story of Zelina just trying to keep pushing forward, keep moving forward, and trying to like get around the obstacles that are in her way, especially around the ring in the Secret Service. And I mean, as soon as they get kicked out, Zelina hits a code red, gets the win. But the crowd were kind of into it, not as much as they would or could be, but she still had a good noise going about her when, before the match, during her entrance, after the match, when she won. Like, yeah, I just thought this was a good match, a great moment for Zelina. So, congratulations on your first singles title win, which, this is exactly what the mid-card titles were made to do, for people just like Zelina to build her up and make us believe in her and all that. Yeah, I think my only one caveat is the fact that they moved on so quickly from her winning the title.
Yeah, they didn't let it marinate.
So, yeah, which I mean, I get, because you have the Secret Service immediately coming out to try to beat her down, but I don't know. I was expecting just a little bit more pomp and circumstance with it. But go ahead, talk to me. What did you think of the match quality overall? The winner of all this, the story that we can go on beyond this, because even though Chelsea Green's not technically the U.S. champion, does she still have a Secret Service? I mean, do her rule apply just like the president's rules here, where he still has a Secret Service even though he's not officially the president? Yeah, go ahead, talk to me. What did you think of this title match that we got tonight?
All right, so I'm gonna go down the same route as you said. I thought it was a fine match. It wasn't anything crazy. Even jumping into this, I didn't really expect it to be anything crazy. But I thought what they did tonight was the right move, because as much as I love Chelsea Green because she's great, she has the character work, and we've seen how passionate she is in a lot of the interviews that she has. I'm glad that Zelina was able to have her moment, because she has so many opportunities to really, get so close, and then sometimes it just gets ripped right from her. So I'm happy that they did capitalize on that tonight, because we were even talking about on the show a couple times, it's okay, you're gonna have her go over, and then you're gonna have her lose, and then you're gonna have her go over, and then you're gonna do all these different kinds of shenanigans again. We wanted to make sure that things were going down the proper route. So it's as soon as you saw the way that things took place tonight, with the Secret Service were gone, and things are really starting to look dark for Chelsea Green, and then Zelina took that as her advantage to really, get her and put her through the code red to get the win. I thought it was a good moment, because, again, it's something that she strived for. She never really had the opportunity to really hold a singles title. And I can understand, around the time, because, they were pushing a lot of people like the Rheas, the Biancas, the Ios, etc., so on. So there really wasn't any room for her to really, throw that bone at her. But now that the mid-card titles are a thing, you could throw that bone at her, and you could actually do something with it, which I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt with this to see what they do, because as of the lineage of the U.S. title for the ladies, this is the second woman that's a part of that lineage now, because Lyra still has hers. We don't know what's going on with that current storyline until it evolves, once we saw it on Monday. But now Zelina Vega has it. So I'm very curious to see what's going to transpire between them. I expect another match between her and Chelsea Green, because Chelsea Green deserves to get a rematch out of this. But I'm very curious to see what's going to come out of Zelina's reign. One of the things I don't want to see, because I guess she's going to be doing a little something with Chelsea Green in the meantime, but I'm hoping after she takes a break from Chelsea Green, I'm hoping we're not venturing back to a Michin or a B-Fab right away. I'm hoping we have other people that haven't been involved in that picture yet that are a part of the SmackDown roster, because there's other ladies outside the ones that were involved with the U.S. title that hasn't really done anything with it yet. As we were talking, I was actually looking at the rosters to really see how the divisions are going to be looking years from now. I mean, you have someone like Alexa Bliss. We haven't really seen what's been going on with her. You can factor her into something. Maybe you can give, I don't know, let's say, I guess another person you could probably throw in there is possibly, trying to think, man. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, just looking at it right now, I mean, heading into the next segment, a lot of them are involved in that main title picture. I don't want to say a Charlotte Flair, because I feel like that's above her. I feel like she'll have her moment with that title down the line, just to add to oh yeah, get that little check mark that I had this title, so on. But this is a kind of something I pictured for a Jade Cargill or like a Naomi for a little bit before they moved on into like the next big one. But I just want more names involved with this besides like the obvious ones. Like that's all I'm hoping for. Like after she does things with Chelsea, I'm hoping there's some new names thrown in there.
Yeah, and I guess the one big question with this segment, now that it's over, what did you think of Chelsea Green's title reign, especially being like the first, not only the first U.S. women's champion, but the first women's mid-card champion in the company? Because like, the IC title is a thing, but let's be honest, they kind of cared more about the U.S. title, which is also kind of saying something compared to, you know, what we got with it. But what do you think of just her title reign overall then?
I mean, she made it entertaining, I'll say that. She definitely like try to add a little flavor to it, so it's not just I have the title, you got to come up against me in a match and see if you could beat me. Like she actually had her little entourage behind it. She actually played on a gimmick when it comes to this whole president thing of like Chelsea Green coming out there with a secret service. Like she actually did something to spice it up outside of just I'm so and so holding a title. So that's something I can give her credit for, that she actually put a lot of character work to, you know, add something to the US title to really have it be memorable. Because when you look at it back maybe like a couple of years from now, you could be like, you know what, Chelsea Green actually had a fun little gimmick with that. That's something I can say when it comes to what she did with her reign. Like that's something that definitely stands out to me.
Yeah. And I do think she can continue on with this kind of gimmick, because that's the thing, like, and I kind of made the comparison earlier, like when a president stops being president, they still have a secret service and all that. So they can still play upon like, okay, well, yeah, I lost my title, but I was still the longest reigning one. You know, or like the first one and all that. Like Chelsea Green is a good enough character to really play upon that aspect anyways. Yeah. Because she'll still try to pull her weight around with it, being like, I was the first, so I should get this opportunity. So it's like, you know, yeah, you go, girl. You do your thing. And I will always still pledge my allegiance to you anyways, because you've been a really, really good champion. But I am glad we're going to newer, fresher pastures when it comes to Zelina Vega. Hopefully she does really well with holding the title. Again, her first singles title in the company. Just do well, girl. And we'll see where everything goes. Kind of wish this is another one, kind of like the same thing with like the tag titles. Kind of wish this was on Mania, because I think it would have meant a little more. But I'm not going to complain too much, because at least we got it. And yeah, I think it was the right time to just kind of pull that trigger. But speaking of pulling triggers, yeah, you think we might be pulling a trigger a little too early with somebody?
Yes.
Some people might say that. Yeah. So we had Tiffany Stratton taking on Jade Cargill. Now, how does this get involved? Well, Tiffany comes out, says it was Tiffany time at Mania because she beat Charlotte. Huzzah, well, hey. So now we can move on finally from her and Charlotte. And we move on straight to Jade Cargill, who wants a shot at Tiffany. And okay, it's not going to be a title match, but yeah, let's go ahead. Let's have a match. And they had a match. And the match was fine. It kind of started a little clunky, but I do feel like they did start getting into a rhythm with it. And like we were starting to see like some big spots, some good spots and all that. I'm sure there are people out there that are going to not be a fan of how Jade was kind of on the back burner a lot with this. But at the same time, this is also your women's champion, so she probably shouldn't be looking too weak against an opponent. So, and plus, like, this is just a different place. This is a different time. And when you also kind of think about it too, with like the whole idea of like an RPG, like I used to usually try to say to rationalize a lot of this stuff. I mean, Tiffany's at like level 25, and Jade's at Jade's at like level 23 right now. So it's like there's a 2-level difference there. Jade's pulling out some big offense because like her attack is a lot stronger than Tiffany's defense, but Tiffany's still able to get around her and still be able to like be on top. So it makes sense that she should be on top. But yeah, they started to get a good rhythm in, I think. And I mean, Jade probably could have won the match, but excuse me, getting getting late in the day and all that. Yeah, Jade probably could have won the match if it wasn't for Naomi, who comes out and kind of attacks her. Cool, awesome. Before we get into the other person who attacked, though, what did you think of the match first?
So I'm gonna say this. So when it comes to the match itself, I wasn't completely blown away when I first saw it. And I understood that things were done by design because you have to have Tiffany looking dominant in the match because she is the champion, especially when you come off of WrestleMania beating Charlotte Flair, because that's a big name regardless how you feel about her. That's a big name under her belt now that she's going to have to carry for the rest of her career to really, you know, get to that level that she really needs to be. So you look at that Tiffany Stratton fresh out of Mania, ready for the next person that cross paths with her. Like I understood why the match was built the way it was, but at the same time, I can say that the match did look a little rough around certain edges when it came to certain spots. Like I think it was like a spine buster that like Jade was trying to do, whatever. Like it's like the way you look at it, it's like Tiffany is like the athletic person that you see in the ring, where you know she does those little cartwheels and all these like moves that she's just known to do, and then Jade's pretty much like the powerhouse. And sometimes you could mesh those things together, but then sometimes it's like a little off, and that could be one thing where it's like you're not always working with this person all the time. Because if I could recall in the back of my head, and they could have had some tag matches in the past, I believe, when Jade and Bianca were around with those tag titles, but I don't recall them working with each other all the time. But it's like at the same time, Jade has been in a lot of matches where it's like tag teams, so you were able to like hide that when it comes to doing those tag team moves with Bianca, or just getting in there for a little bit and then tagging Bianca to get in there, or if when her, Naomi, and Bianca were all together doing a 3-on-3 match or whatever, you know, you could kind of hide that a little bit. But now she's like at the next stage, she's going up against the champion. She's trying to walk down a different route than she did before. And I felt like, you know, she did the best that she possibly could, but I can't help but notice that there was some things that were a little off in that match. I'm glad that Tiffany caught herself when she was, you know, hitting her finisher, because I always get a little worried like that, especially like I told you about earlier when it came to those ropes. I don't know what the hell was going on with those ropes.
Oh, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, because like I heard it when like Randy like went to the rope and like went and like had it bounce like that. Those things were loud, and it happened a couple times, I think, in the Fraxiom tag match as well. Like those things were kind of loose. So yeah, good on Tiffany for recovering the way she did.
Yeah, I'm happy she was able to like catch her step, because, you know, especially like the way that they pop up and do it, because like Jacob Fatu does a similar thing too, where it's like when he sets up his moonsault and everything, because it's different with Io, because she like goes up there, she measures the distance, and then she does it. With them, they go up there with like this little like pattern where it's like do do do, and then they go backwards and pull off the move. That's something that her and Jacob do similar, so they got to time that properly, because one misstep, you know, you could like sprain an ankle, or, you know, something along the lines of that. Your leg can get caught on the rope. It could potentially lead into like an ACL injury, which obviously I'm not praying for anybody, because that's awful. But it's like you always got to make sure you know where your footing is at all times. When I saw that at first, it did worry me a little bit, but I'm happy she was able to catch her ground and she was okay. But as far as things go with I guess the next thing you want to tackle with like the whole Jade situation with Naomi, and then obviously the other thing that I know me and you have some words to say, even though there is unfinished business, it's still like, why are we going back to this?
Yeah. I'm kind of glad we're continuing the Naomi Jade thing.
Yeah,
because that is a big feud.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, their next match could have a stipulation to kind of add to that. And I mean, Naomi kind of like devolving into madness a little bit. I really dig it.
Oh yeah, I
Like
love
she was
that.
just like cackling in the ring after taking out Jade. It was beautiful work, I thought. Like this new Naomi we're getting. It's just really good, and because the other thing too is she does feel justified in her actions. So it's like, yeah, you go ahead and feel justified, girl. You go justify that jealousness and all that. But she backs away from fighting Tiffany, which, okay, fine, whatever. Like, Tiffany's not your main target. They don't want to get too rough just in case she does fight back and all that. So Naomi just leaves. She's like, I'll deal with you at a later date. But somebody else, ladies and gentlemen, comes in to destroy Tiffany, to come in there with a good old hammer to sit on her chest and all that stuff, and it's not in the fun kind of way. No, because we are not done with most girls. In fact, most girls are not like most girls. Some of them are monsters, and the one that is a monster, Nia Jax. Nia Jax is back. She wants to finish Tiffany off, get her title back and all that. There's only one positive I have about this. At least we're getting it done early.
Mm-hmm.
Should have been done before Mania, so we didn't have to deal with it after Mania.
Yeah.
But at least we're getting it done now, so it could just be done. It could be over with. We only have 2 weeks of build for it, which is fine. Let's get it over with.
Yeah.
Fine, just rip the Band-Aid. Have Tiffany finally just conquer Nia clean. Just do it. Just do it. Get it over with. I'm not looking forward to hearing Nia Jax with her. I don't like her promo work. I don't like it, and it's mainly just her voice. Like, she comes off as so condescending about it, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I mean, whether that's by design, I mean, at least you're doing your job then, because I don't like it, But I just want it to be done, over with. We can move on with the rest of the summer. Have Tiffany do other things with other people.
Yeah.
Drop, what do you think about this? What do you think about getting the Nia Jax?
So when it comes to like the Naomi and Jade thing, it makes sense for it to continue because I felt like the story wasn't really over to begin with, and with Beyond. And actually, I'll touch on that after. But it's like I honestly feel like this time around you need to have Naomi go over, and then you could have a little rubber match afterwards to determine like who's the true winner after all of it. Because I might be like the odd man out, but I kind of wanted Naomi to go over at Mania because I just really loved her character work with everything that was currently going on with her. So I'm liking how she's trying to prevent Jade from, getting a world title opportunity. Because realistically, now you were embarrassed at WrestleMania. Jade went over on the match. You don't want to see Jade go ahead and get these world titles and stuff like that. You want to do everything that you possibly can to stop her, because that was her whole motivation to begin with. She says to proceed with caution. She's saying that for a reason, because she wants Jade to tread carefully when it comes to the kind of decision that she's making, and that pretty much goes for everybody, because she even said that to Nia Jax in the back as well. So it's like, I'm glad for that. That makes sense for us to continue that program. I'm happy that we're doing the Tiffany and Naomi thing. Tiffany and Nia thing, even though I kind of figured, like you said, this should have been done like before Mania, because at least you got that out of the way. You could focus on the whole Charlotte thing, and then whatever happens beyond Mania happens beyond Mania when it comes to potential people for her to butt heads with and everything. But it's like, I don't know, man. It's like, I'm not the biggest fan of her promo work, like you said as well, but I'm also not really super excited about a Tiffany and Nia Jax match, because there really isn't anything there for me to care for. I mean, I love Tiffany and I can appreciate what Nia has done, because definitely when it comes to her second run, she's been doing some pretty good things, but it's hard for me to really like pour in like a lot of that passion to really care about whatever's going down right here. It's kind of like, in a way, if you really look at it, it's kind of like Tiffany's little side quest before she moves on to something else. It's almost like she was in the middle of a side quest, so she couldn't figure out exactly where she needed to go to find the treasure chest to like complete that side quest, so she can get whatever reward came out of that. Kind of like, okay, I got lost. I'll go back to this later. I'll tackle the main boss, which was, Charlotte around the time to complete that dungeon, and then I'll go to that side quest after I'm all done. That's essentially like how I look at the whole Nia Jax situation. It's like, okay, Nia Jax is back. She wants to get her title back. Obviously, that's not going to happen. I'm hoping it's just like a one-time thing, and then after that, you're over and done with. Because now that I'm thinking about it, though, I mean, is there really that many people, especially since she's a babyface now, for her to really go after on SmackDown? I feel like that's also another reason why you gotta really need to mix up the rosters and have some fresh faces, have some call up some NXT to really shuffle things around, because I can't really think of anybody else besides what we're seeing right now for her to really go up against. Like outside of Nia, like what else is there? Oh, Charlotte's coming back for revenge. I mean, you can only do that for so long. So it's like, who else is out there? Naomi and Jade are still butting heads. I mean, I don't really think I care to see Candice because that's just a part of the Nia story. So it's like,
there's not too many big names for Tiffany to really play with in that level, which kind of sucks on one hand, but hopefully we get a draft to kind of mix things up a bit. I'm excited for at least one of these matches that'll be bound to happen with Naomi and Jade. That should be fun. But I at least wanted to give the props to like the second part of this match, because I do really think like they did start clicking near the end of this match, where it's like, okay, this is how I'm gonna. It was like the power bomb was one of them. Like when Jade reversed that Alabama Slam into a power bomb, like that looked really good.
I like that. Yeah,
and like some of Jade's selling was really good too, from like the elbows that Tiffany was doing. Like those were pretty good. Like there was some good work in here. Just it just took a little bit for them to kind of click, which is fine, because like Tiffany's still young, Jade is still as experienced as she is, which the fact that they put on a match of this quality, for example, yes, good on you guys. Just like Pedro Pascal said, it's good, but it could be better, and it will be better, and it's all good. So we're gonna end off really quick here with a quickfire segment here, where Bianca, she was backstage with Byron Saxton, and she was giving an update for after WrestleMania. Apparently, she had broken some of her fingers, and despite losing at Mania, she was proud of their match. I mean, it was the first women's match to get a 5-star rating from Dave Meltzer. So if you're somebody that like really puts stock into that, there you go. I think the only other women's match, which, fun fact, came from this year, maybe? But, and people can fact check me on this too, but the only other women's match from Meltzer to get a 5-star rating was Tony versus Mariah. Hollywood ending this past year. Yep, see you soon, Mariah. But yeah, she's gonna be focusing on healing her broken finger, and she'll come back to finish some business, probably with Naomi, before she moves on to the title picture. I mean, it's good to see Bianca. I think she, much like Cody, could use some time off. Mainly from the crowds, because like the crowds were starting to, for some reason again, like only because she was blocking you from getting Rhea at WrestleMania. Okay, fine, whatever. That doesn't mean she's the heel in all this, and you should boo her. Like, okay, fine, whatever. But yeah, get a little bit of that heat off, I guess, and come back stronger than ever. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what I gained from this. But any thoughts on this Bianca segment?
I do hope she has a speedy recovery. I did look it up. It says it takes like 3 to 8 weeks, so maybe around like a month and a half or so for her to really fit in the picture. Or maybe that's like the next stage after whatever's going on with Jade and Naomi that she can insert herself in. Honestly, the way that I'm looking at it, because sometimes when people, take time off injury and then they eventually come back, what if she came back as like a heel? What if that was like the next like page of the story, where it's
Mhm.
kind of like she looks. Because like you look at it like this. Let's say hypothetically that me and you were out for an injury because of a certain match we had, and we were involved in an ongoing story. So we would be home,
Mhm.
you know, recovering, going through rehab, everything along the lines of that, and you know, kayfabe, of course, we would be looking at the current storyline that's going on with whatever we were involved in before. And if I was Bianca, you know, looking at what was currently going on with Jade and Naomi, I feel like it would be picture perfect if you had her come back to insert herself in that storyline, because realistically, there's nowhere else for her to really go. And I can't say, oh, just throw her in with Tiffany, because she hasn't really earned that spot to get there. She earned her spot to
Right.
get there with Io, but she didn't earn that spot to get there with Tiffany. And it doesn't really make any
Yeah.
sense for her to, again, involve herself in another championship title, because why are you going to put her there when she has something that she needs to deal with before she moves on to something else? So I was thinking, what if she examines this and then she starts catching on what Naomi's saying, and then
Mhm.
we see her come back, and let's say hypothetically, you know, she aligns herself with Naomi after seeing the truth come to life, after looking behind the scenes, and then that could be, you know, the next thing you work with her. Like that would be something I could see, because you got to figure out like how she's going to come back. It can't be one of those things where it's like,
Yeah.
oh hey, I'm back. You see her in a backstage segment. Oh yeah,
I'm
I'm back.
back.
You have those little like
Yeah.
little vignettes earlier in the show of them showing up for like the Monday Night Raw or the SmackDown or the pay-per-view. Like I feel like if you want to
Mhm.
like bring her back, you could possibly do like an angle like I said. That could be an
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, that could be a great idea, but yeah, I'm kind of on the boat with you here. It's just like it would be great if she came back with like a good character change. You know, maybe she did start seeing the light that Naomi keeps casting and all that. That would be great. That would be a compelling story and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, hopefully Bianca heals very nicely,
Oh yeah.
and you know, quick, speedy recovery from her, you know, breaking your fingers and all that. So hopefully everything's fine afterwards. But hey, everybody, that was SmackDown. So again, like I said at the beginning of this episode, I thought this was a really good SmackDown from start to finish. I mean, people were given time. The matches were pretty dang good that we got. Everyone pretty much stepped up the game. I think, you know, having that rest from after WrestleMania definitely helped a lot of people to kind of boost themselves and just get ready for like the next phase of 2025. And yeah, I mean, I think that this made me feel like it was Triple H's WWE again. You know, not something just to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this for money. We're gonna do this for the spectacle. It's like, all right, yeah, there's the spectacle involved, but things are making sense. Things are happening that people actually like. Uh, yeah. Again, I just thought it was a really, really strong SmackDown. But Drop, what do you think of SmackDown?
So I thought SmackDown was a pretty good show tonight. I loved how they showed us why tag team wrestling matters. So again, please
Mm-hmm.
keep this rhythm up when it comes to showcasing what tag
Please.
team wrestling means, because that was one of the weakest points for so long. So I'm happy things are finally getting back on track again when it comes to Triple H's image of tag team wrestling, because it was very
Yeah.
absent when Vince was taking over the company and everything. So I'm glad we're getting stuff like this to end off the show. We could reflect on it, be like, holy shit, that was one hell of a fucking match. And I'm invested with whatever's going on with John and Randy. It's kind of hard not to. If you've known each other, if you've known these guys for years, you know, you see them again one last time, which I saw they're labeling as, you know, one last time. Obviously, you know, do the best that you
Mm-hmm.
possibly can with that. And that goes along with a lot of the other people that John feuds with too. You know, do the best that you possibly can to really wrap this up, make it be memorable. Aleister Black
Yeah.
coming back. Me and Watkins are super hyped about that. Glad he has the whole package here. I'm hoping, you know, he gets some great things in the future, because I have a lot of hope in him. Fraxiom getting added to the tag team division is freaking awesome. I'm expecting to see a lot of great matches. We saw a little preview here, like Watkins alluded to, a match between them and the Street Profits of the tag titles in the near future. I mean, sign me up for that. I don't even know if I really want that on SmackDown. Put that on a PLE, honestly. That's a PLE worthy match. I'm so
Please.
like you could put it on a
Please.
SmackDown. Don't get me wrong, but that's a PLE match. I'm sorry. That's
Yeah.
you need to not have any commercials during that. No, Put it on a PLE.
Or at least limited commercial breaks, or
Yep.
you know, something like something.
Happy for Zelina. Hopefully there's a good direction of her. Definitely expecting more things of her and Chelsea. Interested to see where this Fatal 4-Way goes with the US title. That should be interesting. And wishing Bianca the best. And let's get through this Tiffy and Nia storyline so we can see exactly what's next for Tiffany, because I can't really tell you what else is next for her beyond this. Not saying she needs to drop the title, but I can't really think of any challengers.
Yeah, any like deserving challengers, I guess. But yeah. All right. Well, hey everybody. You know, I know a bit on the shorter side when it comes to our weekly coverage of shows and all that. But hey, you know what? Vash, again, his soul belongs to The Rock, and when The Rock wants something, he'll take it.
After everything,
whether it's your soul or your money or your creative powers, he will take it. Don't you worry. But yeah, so I'm just gonna take time to thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoy what we had to say, there is a lovely little line, a lovely little array, if you will, of handles right there in the yellow of your screen right there. You got Anima Wii Studio, that is our parent company. We have at Legend D Vash, again, his soul belongs to The Rock right now, but you can still talk to him on there. You got at Drop This Box. Again, Genius of the Mat to help us process everything. And of course, you got at Watkins MW, your world champion that you can follow with talking about whatever's coming to my mind. And of course, at Weebs of the Ring to talk to us and just see any news that comes up or any like updates on our shows and all that, or special videos or anything like that. But we also have a hashtag known as Weebs of the Ring where you can talk to us about anything wrestling before, during, or after these programs, because we always like to hear from you guys and we like to keep the conversation going. So that's a great way to kind of keep a good conversation going and all that. And especially if you're here live in the chat, it helps out too, because hey, you know what, you got a shout out too, Sweetie Pie Forever. Like, you got a good shout out. You had a good comment for us to kind of get a good conversation going. So good on you. But using the hashtag is a good way to, keep that interaction going with us. And it's also a good way to give us some feedback, because hey, feedback is always appreciated, as we are nothing without you guys tuning in, and we love to continue to up our game, just like the superstars that we watch every single week on these programs. Weebs of the Ring is presented by Anima Wii Studio. Thanks, of course, to our production team for all of their hard work every single day of every single month of every single year of doing this project. Thank you once again, and as always, remember, people, no stunt grannies were harmed in a recording of this podcast. Have a good night, have a good weekend, and we will see you on Monday or Raw on Netflix.
Yeah, I'm excited for that new faction.
Yeah.